Welcome back. Last time, Seth had some unfortunate memories, but this time, let's see if we can move past that and go on to Tusker Village South. Remember, our goal is to get back to Ura. And let's see if we can do something about this nasty war that Numara's trying to start. And that Gringora is not helping things. The mountain village of Tusker.
Kaim!
Oh, I'm recognized.
Look, it's Kaim! Hey, everybody! Kaim's back! It's good to see you again, Kaim. But you haven't changed a bit.
Let's talk to some people here. Kaim, don't tell me you're leaving already. It's been so long since your last visit. Don't go just yet. Alright. Ah, Kaim, nice to have you here. Things haven't changed a bit around here, don't you think? I heard that Goetze's military is even coming to this village to draft new recruits. Oh, that's right. Are we going to Goetze? Perhaps I don't remember correctly. You know, I have some serious trouble believing that you actually lived here once before. The Black Cave was sealed off by ghastly sorceress. She was shouting wildly the whole time. She must be a monster. It's an inn, Kaim. Look! It's been a long voyage, and I'm sure you're tired. So, why don't we just call it a day here, okay? No. Welcome, Kaim. The house on the cliff side on the northern cape where you and Sarah lived. It's still there, you know. Oh. Ah. If you've been following along with their Let's Play, you know that cliff. Big part of this game so far. You can't get to Goetze without traversing through the cave, but with the things the way they are these days, sealing it off was the right thing to do. Alright. We got us a seed. Let's try climbing up this. See what's up here. Just a statue. Doesn't seem to be anything else we can do. Alright. What's over here? You're Kaim, aren't you? My grandpa told me that you're the guy who saved the village long ago. Nice to meet you, kid. Oh, hey, Kaim. You're Kaim, right? My grandfather told me all about you. He gave me this as a keepsake. It's really valuable to us, but it's what you use to protect the village, right? So, Kaim, I want you to return it to you. Magic Powdered Locator Level 1. Magic Powered Locator Level 1. Hey, Kaim, try it out now. I've hidden treasure somewhere inside the village. See if you can find it. Here's a hint. It's somewhere way up high. It's yours if you can find it. A treasure that's really high up lies in Tusker. Yes, please. Alright, using the Magic Powered Locator, you'll be able to look for treasures hidden all over the world. But to find the treasures, you must obtain information on the whereabouts of those treasures. Once you get information on the treasure, it will appear on the treasure screen within the item menu. When you have your magic-powered locator and information, there will be a glowing point on the navigation map when you enter the area in which the treasure is hidden. The treasure is hidden at the glowing point. Search for it in the nearby area. You can increase the output of the magic-powered locator, enabling you to find a lot more treasure than with level 1 locator. Okay. No. Let's do one more bit of climbing, shall we? I highly suspect it might be up here. Okay. Item, treasure, Tusker treasure. Not there. Huh. Okay. Either I missed something as I was reading it, or it's not here, or somehow I'm just missing it in blindness. And I don't know. Could be any of them. I really think it's somewhere up there. Let's see. Everyone seems pretty scared of the old sorceress. Let's head on inside. The Dino family house. We've got a visitor! Hello, puppy. I was gonna play with my brother, but he's not home. Probably out getting into trouble again. Well, well, thanks for visiting. I know this place isn't so fancy, but I hope you like it all the same. Shh, quiet down. I wanted to jump out and scare somebody, but nobody's coming. Okay, let's check out up here real quick. Seed obtained. Flare bomb obtained. Okay. Let's check this house. Welcome back, Kaim. Where have you been all this time? What's up with all these statues? 4 seeds of terror obtained. Okay. Let's give it seeds. We got an earth charm. Yay! Oh, hi kitty. No, I did not. Grr. Sometimes being overzealous in searching for items can cause trouble. Kalolon is the guardian spirit of the village, but I have to be good, or else he won't protect me. This road leads out of the village, but you'd best avoid it. It's dangerous out there. Okay. Climbing, climbing, climbing. Oh, is this the treasure? Just make sure. 500 gold obtained. I doubt that was the treasure. Climbing down. Climbing down. Let's just check. I have to go back and watch the tutorials. Make sure I didn't misunderstand anything. So for the moment, let's save. And I'll be right back.
Okay, so I went back and watched the tutorial. I was so busy on reading on it, I did not focus on the imagery that it was providing. There is a glowing spot on the map right here. Oh. Dark crystal staff and the dark crystal ring. Unfortunately, the Dark Crystal movie left Xbox for Netflix. Alright. Let's go ahead and move on. So why don't we call it a day here, okay? Yes, let's rest here. That's fine.
I'll go speak with the king. We've never met, but I've heard he's very wise. I'm confident that he has a ship that can get us past the hypercurrents.
Wow, that hit the spot. You know, I'm finally starting to feel at home.
Oh, Jansen.
No.
Are you even listening to
Doesn't
me?
sound like it.
Well, there's a time and place for that stuff, and this is neither. Tell me, is it really true you can't
At
drink?
least he's honest.
Yes.
That is so sad. But you're a queen. I mean, don't you have wine or champagne at parties or banquets, hangings, any festive thing like that?
Hangings?
No.
No.
Well, look it. Nobody knows us here. Come on, just give it a try. I guarantee you'll like it. Really. It won't kill you, I promise. In fact, I bet if you take a couple drinks, you might get your memory back. Yeah, it relaxes the mind and other things.
You think so?
Absolutely. Hey, look at me. You're talking to Jansen here. Bottoms up.
Bottoms up.
What? You don't like the cheap stuff?
No, it's just I've never tasted anything like it before.
You don't have to force yourself to drink it.
No, I want my memory back. If there's any chance this will help, I'll manage to drink it.
Wow.
Wow. That good.
Yeah.
Are you, okay?
Whew. I feel very lightheaded all of a sudden. It's affecting me like you said it would. Oh, your muscles
Yeah,
are
well-
so...
Hey, oh!
That happened.
No. You know, you're cute when you're asleep.
Jansen!
What? Oh!
What the hell do you think you're doing?
I was having a serious discussion about, what's going to happen next. And planning.
Happen next?
Yeah. She's going to talk to the king and get us a ship, because yours can't float where the... after all, Goats has got the most advanced technology around. We figured we'd get a more seaworthy ship from him. So that, What?
All right. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this time. But don't try any funny business with Ming.
Yeah, well, I'm looking out for her too, I mean, look how restful she looks right now.
She does look peaceful in her slumber. But of course, we come back to Kaim. Let's find out what's going on. Oh. The Aquara bomb. Seed? Oh, something hidden. 2 magic ceiling feathers. Alright. Anything... Oh, can I not go in between that? Nope. For those of you who have been following us along, just due to lack of interest in the Lost Odyssey series, thank you for coming, Kaim. A toast for the well-being of our village's savior. We are moving Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon to Mondays and Tuesdays, respectively, rather than twice a week each. I've heard a great deal from you about you from my mother and father. Please make yourself at home. So if this is not something that you're pleased with, then I urge you, shout out in the comments. Let me know. If you don't mind waiting the extra week, or the extra time once a week, then let me know that too. I'd love to hear from you. Great to see you here, Kaim. Everything's just delighted. Or everyone's just delighted. Strange. Shouldn't Sarah be with you? I'm cleaning right now. Please, wait a... Oh! It's you, Kaim! Apparently I remember you, even though I look like a child. Let me help you clean. Cure all. Seed. Alright, let's go down this way. Mysterious perfumes. I was kind of expecting a dream. I don't like all the bad news we're getting lately. Have you heard the rumors about the old sorcerer's place out on the Cape? I'm sorry, I just don't feel well for some reason. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, though. Could this be Kaim? Do you remember me? I suppose you wouldn't. As old as I've become. Can't talk with her.
Hey, Kaim! I heard you were back.
This place takes me back. And it looks like the years have been good to you.
Knock it off. I'm a bona fide old man now.
His voice sounds so familiar. If you know who voices Innkeeper Tolty, let me know. Just chat in the comments.
Well, if you don't mind my saying so, you've aged really well.
Thanks, honey. Drink up. This is on the house.
Well, that is mighty nice. I don't mind if I do. Can I have that big, large mug over there?
I was only 7 when you saved the village, but I remember you as if it were yesterday. You were a hero to us kids back then.
Yeah? So, we're trying to get to Gotza.
Forget it. The only way is through the Black Cave.
I heard it'd been closed off by some old sorceress.
There's nothing to be afraid of. We'll just bust our way through.
It's not that simple. Neither muscle nor magic have had any effect. Although adventurers with plenty of both have tried. My guess is that only that old sorceress can bust through the blockage. She's got some serious magic energy. Yep, she sure does.
Well, it sounds like that's our next step then.
Why don't we wait until she goes to the bathroom? Then we can, sneak by her.
Oh, it gets better. You know that place where you and Sarah lived?
Yeah?
Well, that old sorceress has moved in.
So a sorceress with no name. Never mind. I'm not going to say anything. I know what's really going on. I was just going to lead up to it.
My house?
What? Hey, you don't even have a lease agreement?
We kept the place up after you and Sarah went away, so it'd be ready if you ever came back. But I'm afraid she's made a mess of it. Sorry.
Don't trouble yourself. It saves us the hassle of having to look for her.
That's a good point.
The only thing to do with squatters is run them out.
Well, I think you'll be okay. Just be careful, Kaim.
Will do, innkeeper Tolty.
We're off to kick some old woman's butt.
That doesn't sound right.
You're not gonna go off and leave Ming like this, are you?
So just to
We'll
clarify...
head out there tomorrow morning.
Okay. Never mind. I thought she was suggesting that we go out and leave Jansen to watch over Ming, which clearly is against Seth's character development so far. Then again, everyone, except for Kaim, has a problem with Jansen. And I mean everyone. Kaim, I think he's probably the most understanding person on the team. Alright. Yes, I'd love one. Ooh, turtle shell ring. So, if we can combine the piercing ring and the bio ring, we become the hardened killer. Or combining hardened killer level 1 and bio killer level 1, we get the turtle shell ring. Ah. No, I don't want to explain it again. I wanted to back out. Okay. Sorry, I have been using a gamepad on the Nintendo Switch for a new series on Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. And on there, the accept cancel buttons are switched. Because, of course, A is on the right-hand side of the gamepad, which is still the accept button. And B on the Switch gamepad is where A is on the Xbox gamepad, and it's all confusing. As soon as I started doing that, I knew that I was going to have trouble. My brain just has to be flexible, and it is not. Okay, what's back here? Yeah, let's stay. Maybe we'll trigger a dream. Nope, we just go back to our dreaming archives, which of course you don't have to go back for. You can look at all of our Let's Plays up till now and have the dreams read out to you. So let's leave Tolty's Inn. Yep. And come on down. Now that we're all saved up, we can go ahead and go off to this black cave. It's gonna probably be back here. Or maybe not. I've been in my fair share of battles, but one day, just as I was swinging my sword at someone, I suddenly thought, man, I wish I could have been a baker. I have no idea how it felt like that came to me, but after that battle, I quit the army. I've made my living baking bread ever since. Oh, and we have a dream. Before we can get to the Black Cave, if you've been following along, you know what to do. If you haven't, you can either enjoy one of our 1,000 Dream stories, or I'll leave a link in the description on a skip forward. Here we go. The hero was home from the war. He had performed gallantly on the battlefield, advanced to the rank of general, and made a triumphal entry into the village of his birth. The villagers welcomed him with a festive celebration. The grown-ups were treated to drinks beginning in the afternoon, and the children received sweet confections. the cattle and sheep in the pastures that supported the villagers' livelihood, whether because they were excited by the unusual commotion or were welcoming the hero in their own way, sent especially shrill cries reverberating into the blue summer sky. "General, you are the pride of our village." Obviously full of pride himself, the head of the village thrust out his chest as he delivered to his congratulatory address in the welcoming ceremony. "To think that the foremost hero in the army came from this tiny village is so incredibly exhilarating and gratifying. I'm sure our ancestors are overjoyed as well." The throng crammed into the village square burst forth with cheers and applause. "According to the official figures released by the army the other day, General, you brought down at least 2,000 enemy soldiers with your own hand." A thunderous roar shook the square. "Come to think of it, the population of this village is less than 1,000. That means, sir, that you managed to bury more than 2 of these villages' worth on your own. How fortunate for us that you were not one of the enemy. If by any chance there had been a warrior of your caliber on their side, we'd all be resting in the hilltop graveyard by now." A few of the women frowned momentarily at this remark, but the men, full of liquor, responded with an explosive laugh. Sitting stage center, the general lightly stroked his dignified beard. No one present knew that this was his habit whenever he was perplexed. When he left his village to join the army, he was just an ordinary soldier a long way from growing a beard. "General, you are truly the savior of our army, and indeed of our entire nation. I understand that you'll be leaving for another battle tomorrow, but we all hope that you will thoroughly enjoy yourself on this rare visit to your birthplace." The village chief ended his greetings and withdrew to the wings, whereupon the village's #1 entertainer bounded onto the stage in the most comical way he could manage. "Ah, dear General!" he cried, running over to where the great man was seated and going down on his knees. "Oh, hear my plea!" The general looked at him uncertainly. "Oh, is there any possibility that you would lend me your sword at your side, if only for a moment?" Perplexed though he was by all this, the general, impelled by the audience's applause and cheers, handed the man his tasseled and jewel-encrusted sword. The man bowed deeply as the sword entered his outstretched hand, and again he cried, "My gratitude knows no bounds!" Pretending to stagger under the weight of the sword. "Oh! Oh!" He came to the front edge of the stage and held the weapon aloft. "And now, ladies and gentlemen, I will reenact the event that raised our dear General's fame to the height in a single bound when he hacked 18 of the enemy into itty-bitty teeny-tiny bits." The audience cheered wildly, and the man, with exaggerated movements and commentary, swung the sword in a great arc. The audience knew exactly what he was doing. The general had not only made a name for himself for his strategic prowess, but was also widely acclaimed as a warrior on the battlefield. He did not rely solely on his weapons, but in the end leveled his opponents with his sheer physical strength. This, too, was the matter of utmost pride for the villagers. "Here we go! 1 man down, 2 men down, flip the sword, 3 men down, 4 men slash diagonally right through the shoulder, 5th man's head goes flying off, then 3 at once, 6th, 7th, and 8 men, what a bother, I'll just skewer you like this." The man thrust the sword through 3 imaginary opponents, and the crowd went wild. The general, too, broke into a smile and applauded. When he was through clapping, though, he stroked his beard again. I'm sure you can understand how I felt at the time. Sitting up there on that stage, the old general says to Kaim before taking a sip of water from his leather pouch. His magnificent beard is completely white, so distant are the past events he is recounting. Kaim nods in silence, and the general continues as if mulling over every word. The more you know about the war, the more you really feel that way. I'm sure the villagers meant well. they just wanted to pay homage to their hometown hero. No, of course, they weren't being the least bit malicious. My village has the nicest people in the world, which is exactly why I found the whole thing so painful. I couldn't stand it after a while. Hacking 18 men to bits? The deeds of a hero are related in numbers. Surely the men who playfully swung the general's sword on stage that day could never have imagined the ones who lost their lives on the battlefield, the agonized expressions on their faces, the curse in their eyes as they stared into nothingness. But that's all right too. People who live peaceful lives don't have to know about such things. That's what people like us are for, to keep their lives far away from the battlefields. Don't you agree? Thanks to us and our killing of enemies, the people we're supposed to protect don't have to know anything about the bloodiness of war. Unless you believe that, what's the point of killing each other? Kaim says nothing in reply. Without either affirming or negating the old general's words, he stares vaguely at the general's troops. What'd you say your name was? Kaim? I suppose you've killed more enemy soldiers than you can begin to count. There is no way I could count them all. I thought so. You have a flawless build, the kind that can only be tempered on the battlefield. Only a man who has survived one battle after another can carry himself the way you do with complete naturalness. How does a man like you find himself driving a horse and cart over a mountain pass? Kaim is ready to leave without answering if the old man asks such a question, but the general inquires no further into Kaim's background. Instead, there is a sense of relief in the smile he bestows on the sight of Kaim resting his horses at the pass. I was 16 the first time I went into battle. After that, I just kept running from one fight to another until I made it all the way to general. At first, I remembered the faces of the men I crossed swords with and killed. Even if you don't try to remember them, they get carved into your memory. I had terrible nightmares, and try as I might, I could never seem to wash off the stench of blood that splashed on my face and hands. There was a hallucination, of course, but it got so bad once that I spent a whole night in a river trying to wash myself off. The general paused a moment to think about his story, then went on. But after a while, you get used to it. You get used to fighting and killing over and over again. Your body and your mind and your heart. You just get used to it. That's how people are. So I stopped having nightmares. I killed all the enemy soldiers I could lay my hands on, and I forgot every one of their faces. It's the same for you now too, Kaim. Isn't it?
Maybe so.
It's like a curse. If you don't get used to it, your heart breaks. On the other hand, if you do get used to it, your heart probably ends up breaking somewhere deeper down. The general casts a fond glance toward his resting troops, then slowly shifting his gaze far down to the foot of the mountain, he says, "So that's what it's like for me back then, when I returned to my birthplace in triumph." For the final event in the welcoming ceremonies, several children mounted the stage. And now, in honor of our hero, the children will present to the general a floral wreath more marvelous than the greatest medal there ever was. The audience went wild again. When the children put the wreath on his neck, the general favored them with a warm smile. The first honest smile from the heart that he had managed since climbing onto the stage. And finally, as a special treat for the general, who has been galloping from one battlefield to the next far from his native place, the children's chosen representative will read his own original composition spelling out the joys of the peaceful life of the village. with a look of grim intensity. A small boy, barely old enough to go to school, unfolded his composition and, gripping it in two hands, began to read aloud from it, straining to make himself heard.
First, I'm going to write about one of the nicest things that's happened to me. At my house, we have a pasture with lots of cows and sheep. One cow had a baby 2 days ago. I helped my daddy by stroking the cow's back and with a handful of straw while she was having the baby. That makes the cow warm up, so it's easy for her to give birth. The baby was born just before the sun came up. It was a tiny baby, but it could already stand on its own legs. A baby. Wow. I'm gonna take care of this baby until it gets big. Dear little calf, hurry up and grow, okay?
The general had tears in his eyes.
Now I'm gonna write about one of the saddest things that happened to me. That was when my grandma got sick and died. She was such a nice grandma. I know her sickness made her feel bad, but she was always smiling when I was around. You know, she let me hold her hand when she died. I watched her face the whole time because I knew I wouldn't be able to see her anymore, and I wanted to remember her even after I grew up. She kept smiling and smiling for me right to the very end. That's why she's always smiling when I think of her. Are you looking down at me from the sky, Grandma? I'll never know, or I'll never forget you as long as I live.
Tears were streaming down the general's face. When the ceremony ended, the general left his village and headed for the town where the army headquarters were located. There he wrote a long letter to the king, and he gave his sword to his most trusted lieutenant. The general had decided to retire. This was the biggest surprise to me as it was to anybody. But when I heard that little boy's essay, it occurred to me, what makes us really human is to celebrate each life that comes into the world and mourn each life that is lost. I didn't need medals anymore. I didn't need the honor of being allowed into the presence of His Majesty anymore. I wanted to be a real human being again. As a result, overnight, I went from being the village hero to being reviled as a traitor. The general turns to face Kaim and asks, "So, are you going to mock me as a coward who ran away from the battlefield? Or blame me for being a deserter who betrayed his own patriotism?" Kaim turns a gentle smile on the old man. "Neither," he says. "As a soldier, you made the wrong decision. But as a human being, you made the right one." The general strokes his white beard and says, "My habit has changed too. Nowadays, I find myself stroking my beard when I'm embarrassed." The two men look at each other and smile. "Okay, back to work," says the general, standing with a grunt. He calls out to his troops. "All right, men, it's all downhill from here. Let's give it one last push and get back to the village before sunset." The troops, under the general's command, consist of 30 sheep, not one of whom is likely to take a person's life. "Tell me, Kaim, are you planning to go back into the battle at some point?" "I don't really know. I'm content with herding sheep for now," the general says. "I don't have the least regret for the decision I made that day. It would make me happy to think this could be a kind of lesson for you." With this parting remark, the general turns away from Kaim and begins walking. The sheep amble along after him in newly formed ranks. Standing at attention, the general raises his right arm and waves his troops on. "Forward, march!" The command he once delivered to tens of thousands of men in the battlefield now echoes pleasantly among the mountains of his native village. End. Oh, discover treasure hunt information in deep memory. Okay, I see it on the map. Oh, now I can go up there. So that was perhaps one of the most pleasant 1,000-year dreams I had heard. I really liked it. So many of the others are just filled with death and sadness, and that's not going to work. Death and sadness. And this one. There we go. This one made me happy. Alright, Medusa's head. Let's go ahead and take a look at our equipment. It's been a bit since I've seen it, so this is getting us level 1 composite magic, which we do need. Oh, my right bumper is sticking. You don't need anything, you don't need anything. Oh, I have to switch out controllers. Ming doesn't know a thing in the world. It doesn't have an enhancement. Let's take a look at this. Hardened Killer and Biokiller 1. Dark Crystalline. Oh, that's nice. I am gonna stick her with Numbing Ring, and she has the Princess Kaim. Okay. You can... A staff imbued with rare dark crystal. Have that. Light lens. Grants immunity to blind. What does the Medusa have to do with that? I would prefer to be blinded rather than petrified, so we're going to go ahead and switch that out now. Oh, that sticking bumper is going to annoy me. Let's keep going on. Keep on keeping on. Alright, will you let us through now? And our next step will be to go to this mysterious cave. Oh, we have several points of interest that have made themselves available. Okay, the Old Sorcerer's Mansion, North Cape, and the Black Cave. Okay. So I think we're going to do some exploring here in the near future. For the time being, we'll hopefully see you back next week for more Lost Odyssey. If you're interested in our other Let's Plays, we have quite a few, including Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, as well as Citizens of Space! We'd love it if you check them out. They'll be at our end screen. Also, if you want to be sure that you catch all of our Let's Plays as they come out, be sure that you hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, and we'll make sure to get those out to you. Finally, if you like this, please consider hitting the thumbs up, commenting and questioning below. And in the meantime, I'm Ndonosci. As always, have fun.